Sponsorem relacji jest salon podłóg drewnianych Magia Drewna. Łomża, ulica Dworna 47.
Łomża.
I remember, I think in particular, the first show we had when there was many of the audience in this room watching me on a TV monitor, and we had a really nice time. And I think it's good on this occasion that we have a theatre for the show. It's important for this particular concert to have a seated audience and to have a nice kind of theatre environment.
There will be.
So, dobry wieczór, Łomży. Nice to meet you.
She goes out to the man on the street. Sir, can you help me? It's cold and I've nowhere to sleep.
Wydaje mi się, że współpracuje super. Na scenie on jest tak czarującą osobą i
bardzo charyzmatyczną, że od razu porywa publiczność i myślę, że to widać zresztą.
tak jak
I know. I understand.
Na pewno jest to dla nas wielkie doświadczenie i zaszczyt grać z takim wokalistą, jakim jest Ray.
Tak.
Bardzo dobrze.
To be honest with you, working with classical players had been a bit of a nightmare for me. I found it very difficult because, you know, they were kind of moody and unpredictable, and a lot of diva behaviour with some of the old players I used to work with. But when I've started, it's okay, it's not you. And then, you know, so I was working with a few different musicians before I started working with Alicia and Basha and Derek as well. So I had a few bad experiences, but eventually I've found some good people to work with who just did their job properly and professionally, and sometimes when you're touring and living in this life, it can be quite hard and frustrating, but other times it's very fulfilling and rewarding. So I think as a person, as an individual, you've got to be prepared for both sides of it. And of course, working with me means that you're spending maybe 60%, 70% of your life away from home, which is quite different for most people. And I think for there are people in other occupations also, maybe that work in the oil business or whatever, who are spending a long time away from home, or the military. But if you're not used to that, it can be very tough emotionally and physically. So it took time to find classical musicians who had their shit together, basically. But I found it, and it's great. It's been a great thing.
First years as a child, almost like a minute glow, only visible with faith. But you don't ask many questions, you don't reveal your fear. It's here that you belong, there's nowhere else to be. To light up your life.
I mean, my first memory goes back further than 20 years, because when I started performing, it was 30 years, pretty much, since my first concert. And my first concert was at high school. And I remember singing, doing a cover version of Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits, and girls crying in the front rows, And I realized at this time that was that I could do something quite special, that I was lucky that I could touch people's emotions with singing, And that, for me, that's probably the strongest memory I have. And of course, I remember my first concert in a bar, in a pub, or with an audience who'd actually paid money to come and watch me. When I think I was 15, and I got paid £80 for 3 of us, which is quite a lot of money, actually, when you think about it, because this is 30 years ago. I was 15, playing in a pub and getting 400 zloty for three musicians. So I think the wages are still the same in pubs nowadays, 30 years later. But I remember that very well, and the challenge of entertaining an audience who'd paid money to come and watch me. Don't you dare ask me that question. I know you're going to ask me. Don't even go there. Good. Next question. Is there anything hard living in Poland? No, not for me. I think I've said this before, that it feels like home, and I think that says it all. When I come back, I feel like I'm coming home, and I find Poland a warm country. Obviously not the weather at the moment, but I find it like quite a warm country. There's something. It reminds me of Britain in the 70s a little bit, when we used to have family values and people used to kind of stick together. It doesn't happen anymore in the UK. It doesn't happen in most Western countries, to be honest. But Poland still has some of that, and it makes it very special for me. There's a warmth about it, and I don't know. I think it's one of Poland's best qualities, actually. Is the importance that still seems to exist of family. It still exists in society, and I think it's a great thing, and I hope people lose it.
Relację sponsorował salon Magia Drewna. Podłogi w kolorach natury. Łomża, ulica Dworna 47.